So, I get a lot of questions, and I'm going to start answering them and do vlogging and write books. Sorry that you can hear the dryer in the background. My company, Crush It Like a Girl Boss, is out in my house. And so, what I'm going to answer today, briefly, is what is digital marketing? And I'm sort of making this like the major components to it, and then I'll upload this online. I'm just going to take a picture right now because I haven't started writing books, and then I'll follow up with where do you go to learn web design. And I could tell you and say it, but if I don't have a link to it, it makes it much more difficult. So first question is, how much can you make with digital marketing? 120,000 a year, but that's if you're, or 300,000 a year, it depends. But you really have to study code and get certified in AdWords and analytics. But yeah, you can make 120,000 a year pretty easily. I mean, what is that? 60 an hour? Yeah. I mean, you could charge. Some companies charge $300 an hour for SEO. I always like to teach and do pro bono work. So it just depends on we can talk about that later, how you run your company. If you want to have your own company and bill per hour or by job, how to decide. Or maybe if you just started digital marketing and studying it, it might be better to just work for a company and have them teach you all, because you can ask someone a question. I taught myself. It took me 6 years or so, and that was back in the day before they had boot camps and the information they have now. They've broken it down to be much more easy to understand. All right, so the first component to it is web design, blogging, content marketing, branding. Next is social media strategy. And this is if you want to do like the full scope digital marketing. If you hate blogging and you hate content writing or branding, and you hate web design, and you like code, then you would start on the not the backwards way, but on the SEO side, which I'll show you in just a second. So I started on the web design, blogging, content marketing, branding side. I guess because I got trying to remember what it's called, sorry. A minor in fine art. So it was more along the visual presentation of everything. So then there's social media strategy. Trying to make it pretty and just readable. Strategy. Okay. Then, I hope I don't forget any. Let me get some other colors here. Green came out, but that's a marker. I like to have everything the same. All right. Then there's SEO, which, by the way, is the hardest part. You could be just an SEO. You don't have to study. You have to know a little bit of web design. You have to know about blogging and content marketing, branding, and social media strategy, but it's more like an overview of those things. If you know code and you know SEO really well, you could still make over 100,000 a year. Unless, of course, I'm your competitor, then you really can't. Because everybody comes to me since I'm in the top 10% of digital marketers worldwide. So, but let's just start with SEO up here, because that comprises of a lot of stuff. So SEO, which is search engine optimization, and that would be coding. You have to know HTML, HTML5, and whatever code they come out with next year. I'm not joking. That's what makes it hard, is that the code changes and The rules change almost each month, so it's something you really have to keep up with. CSS, and these are easy languages. Now, JavaScript is a little bit harder for me because it's based on algebra, but I'm good with algebra and statistics. I was always good with that. If you are good in that, then you'll probably do really well with JavaScript because it's the same thing. Log files, like if then, if this, then that, and equal signs and like characters that are the same as algebra. So if you hate algebra and you hate statistics, then the next part, which is Google Analytics, you're probably going to struggle with that. It's okay, just struggle through it. Okay, so Google Analytics, you have to get certified in that. And you have to know JavaScript to be able to do Google Analytics. 90% of analytics is set up incorrectly. It's because people don't understand the guides. The guides are based on, half of it is English, the other half is JavaScript. So you have to learn JavaScript first. Just FYI. Because when I learned it back in the day, I got a 50% on analytics exam, and I'm like, damn, that's the half I know in English. The other half was JavaScript, and they didn't tell you that 6 years ago. Now they're like, if you don't know JavaScript, go here. Okay, Google AdWords. Okay. And you can decide if you want to do one thing. You could just do analytics, you could just do AdWords, and you'll probably get around 60 or 70,000 a year. You could just do web design and probably get around 60,000 a year, or branding, and so, or social media strategy. That probably, I think if someone just did social media strategy, honestly, it's probably around 45,000 a year, but you'd have to be really good, and people always ask to have like these entire packages of stuff put together. Oh, right. The hardest thing is schema markup. That's the newest code for SEO, right? Schema markup. All right. What happens if you don't study all of this and you try to do your own SEO on someone's site, then they pass it off to me with 200 mistakes, and then I have to redo it and charge them whatever I have to charge them. So schema markup, really important. And so let's see what else is included in all this. And each one I have links for each one, which I'll do in the next lesson. But right, let's see, web design, social media strategy, blogging, content marketing, branding. Let me see if I'm leaving anything out. Pretty much it. So I would say if somebody asked me how long it would take to learn all this, it depends. If somebody's already really technical in code, they could do it in maybe 6 months or a year. But I would think, honestly, to know what I know, it would probably take 2 or 3 years. It might take somebody 5 years. It just depends on the person and how much time they have to commit to it. But I taught myself online for free. Yeah, now they have better online tutorials for all of this than they had back in the day. So I kind of like sank a lot and just had to come back to it later and just think I was stupid, but I wasn't. It just, they have better educational materials now, which I'm also going to make. I'm trying to commit to sitting down and vlogging and writing out the guides on how to do all this. Okay, so also there are boot camps for digital marketing, and I've looked at them, but it usually only comprises of a small amount of social media strategy, like 3 weeks. That's just not going to cut it. It's really not. You're right. Okay, so, and then you have to keep up with it like every 3 months. Analytics for certifications for analytics and AdWords, for instance, or I think like you have to get recertified every year. And a lot of people don't because they just don't have time, or they don't commit their time in the appropriate way. So, all right, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and add it to the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share. Thanks. Bye.